characteristic, which was the demand of most of the women. Then we come to the question of whether, what is going to be decided today, I can't tell you, because today Parliament is supposed to be considering its all-party meeting to discuss these points. So what they're going to decide, we don't know. And whether the bill will go through or not, and whether it will become an act, or whether the ordinance will lapse, and what will happen, we can't say. The other thing is that one of the big issues that has come up, and which is very controversial, is whether there should be consensual sex between the ages of 16 to 18. Normally a person becomes a major at the age of 18. Now the question is arising that there are young people who are in schools or in colleges, and quite often they are having sex with each other, which is consensual, and whether that should be criminalized so that they can be now put into jail if they do that. So the original law was that the age of 16. The bill in the government had filed has raised the age to 18. The Verma Committee suggested that the age should be kept at 16 because we felt that there were a lot of young people who are friendly with each other and may sometime or the other have sex with each other between 16 and 18, and it's possible that they should not be criminalized, because if they're criminalized then they're put in with hardened criminals, their whole life is ruined, and these are things that are happening in life, so we should take note of it. I think this was a big dispute with the government. The government left it at 18 first. Then there was a lot of discussion between the different, ministries of the government. But the last that came out was that they had also thought that it was best to keep the age of 16 for consensual sex. Consensual sex. I think there's quite a lot of, from what I see in the papers, there's quite a lot of discussion going on about that, and many of the other parties are not in favor. They say it doesn't keep with our tradition, etc. So we don't know what's going to happen there. The other point which has also come up for big consideration was whether the age of the accused should be reduced. The age of the accused is 18, because before that you are a minor, and a person who is under 18 doesn't go through the process of trial. He goes through the process of being under the Juvenile Justice Board, and under the Juvenile Justice Board there's a totally different procedure, and he will not be sentenced under the Juvenile Justice Board to punishment in prison. He would be put for 3 years under observation and given opportunities to reform himself. So there has been a huge discussion about this, and the discussion has also arisen because in this particular case in Maitri, it seems that one of the persons who was the most violent was someone who was 17 years old, 17 years and some months old. And so out of the 6 people in the gang rape, now we know that one has died in Tihar jail, whether by suicide or other we don't know yet. One is under the Juvenile Justice Board, and 4 of them are being tried. So this whole issue of the accused's age should be reduced to 16 was raised. And now people tend to mix up the question of consensual sex and the accused age, and therefore they get very bewildered. That's why I'm dealing with them, because I think that that's what happens. When it's consensual sex, Verma Committee suggested that the age should be 16. That's 2 young people going out together, holding hands, maybe kissing, maybe having sex, or maybe, so that they should not get criminalized. But when it comes to the question of a person being accused who has committed a crime, and a heinous crime, whether the age should be lowered to 16 or not. And the Verma Committee, after a lot of thought, decided that the age should remain at 18. Because when you say 16, why not 15? Someone can commit a crime at 15. But because the UN and all other, many other communities have decided that a minor is a minor till the age of 18, we felt that we should keep it to the age of 18 and let there be a chance to reform a minor under the Juvenile Justice Act. So this is also a matter which has been heavily under discussion, and it's difficult to say what will happen there also, because that is a matter also which is going to be considered. So these are the few major aspects of differences between them. And one of the things that we dealt with, I've got the report to show you. It's a fact report. It's 600-page report, and this has dealt with many aspects. Because though the notification that was issued appointing the committee of 3, they mentioned only 3 things. It mentioned aggravated sexual assault, punishment for that, and quick justice for that. Now, we could have just dealt with that specifically, but we felt that this really means you're not dealing with it in a holistic manner. And to deal with it in a holistic manner, it's extremely necessary to see what the police does, what education does, what the whole society does in a situation where there is rape and sexual assault all the time. And what is the attitude of people, the mindset of people. So we have dealt with a great deal as to how there should be sex education in schools, how the attitude and mindset of men and women should change, how the whole question of having pure daughters, when you go to female feticide, female infanticide, all these things are linked up. It's the way you look at a girl, the way you look at a woman, the way you want to protect, the way she's allowed to protect her body, the integrity, and the safety of women. So we dealt with that. We dealt with the police, that the police is politicized. And because it's politicized, it's not free to act on its own, and is corrupted. And this is a big problem, and there have been so many reports on police reforms, starting from the Dalit committee, right, going on, and no action has been taken. Because the people in power don't take action. Because it suits them to have control of the police. We've also talked about Representation of People's Act. Because the Representation of People's Act, the people who are in Parliament today, we are told that 1/3 of them have some criminal record. And if you look at that, if that is correct, then there have been many suggestions by many committees and the Law Committee also, because I was part of one of those reports of the Law Committee, where they've suggested that the moment a person is charged with an offence by the court, not by the police but by the court, a charge is framed, at that stage the person should be disqualified for becoming a member of Parliament or a member of Legislative Assembly. The present position is that a person has to be convicted, and conviction in the past has been held to be conviction by the highest court. Because the person goes in the appeal, he says, I'm not convicted, and he goes up to the second appeal, into the High Court, he goes up to the Supreme Court, and therefore 5 years are over, long before cases are decided. The courts are not that fast to dispose them of, and by the time of two or three appeals, the thing is over and they remain members of Parliament or members of the Legislative Assembly. So this is very unfortunate also. In fact, we had made suggestion in our report that those members, and since we could not deal with the law in general, we said that people who have committed offences against women, because that was we could only do that much, and we said that people who committed offences against women, they should be disqualified at the first stage, and those who are there already in Parliament, as a gesture, should resign. But of course we didn't get a single resignation. So, that's how things work. And I don't think there's any attempt to change the law, though I did see in the paper yesterday that the law minister has said that he is sending the representation of people's act, the whole act, to be looked at by the Law Commission. So you know how long that will take. But anyway, at least there's hope that they're thinking about it. Okay, so that's yes, on that subject. The other thing is, we did also suggest, because many of the people who came told us that in the northeast and in Kashmir, many army people rape women and sexually molest them, and no action is taken. For one, because permission has to be taken from the army, and the second, because quite often these things are dealt with by the army itself. We have made a suggestion there also that this permission should not be necessary and they should come under the normal law. Of course, there's a huge resistance to that as well. But these are ideas we have put into the report, and we hope that some stage or the other, some action will be taken on them. There's also something else we suggested, which is called command responsibility, which has also created a little bit of a flutter, where we say that a police officer or someone in position who knows what is happening and knows that his junior is right to do something, doesn't take any action, is also responsible. He should be responsible, and when he knows something is likely to happen, when he knows that something is about to happen or is happening, and he doesn't take any responsibility for it. This is also something that is being quite, I should say, people have been rather upset about it, because they say that why should he be made responsible? But the fact is that I think people in position also have to be made responsible, because otherwise if they're not, we're not going to get any action. These are the various things. There are many other aspects, but I think my time is also limited, and also I think that it's too detailed to go into. So I would like to end this by saying that two things are very important. One is that unless we take action, unless we each of us take action, stand up for our rights as citizens, nothing is going to move. Secondly, I think it's also important that the government must pass a good law. As you've seen, only rapes take place all the time. Just yesterday there was a rape in Madhya Pradesh, a gang rape in Madhya Pradesh, which is found in the papers. And these are shocking things that are coming out. And I think that men and women have to stand side by side to support each other and to also take some kind of action. And the last is that I read something in the paper this morning. There is a lady called Mrs. Chadha. 37 years ago, her daughter was burnt in the Dalit case. She has fought relentlessly